Hello and welcome back to another typical City watch-along. We got a little bit of Champions League football. A bit of Champions League football to enjoy. I can't wait for this one. I have sensed a little bit of complacency amongst the City fans, myself included. In truth, I feel like this should be a done and dusted game, but you just do not know. You just do not know with the Champions League. It's so unpredictable. Copenhagen is a ground we've not had that much joy at. Pep Guardiola himself has not had much joy in there for Manchester City. He's not won. I think it was Bayern Munich, maybe Barcelona. I can't remember which club. He didn't win. As a player, he didn't. In his last 3 games, one of them includes being a player, he's not won at the Parken Stadium in Copenhagen. So it could be a difficult night. The atmosphere, what is that guy doing? Some guy who's got a microphone. He's absolutely lost his head. Lost his head, just completely threw me off. Just some headbanger with a microphone going, fucking come on. So he's going mental. Copenhagen fans are going wild, mate. And fair play to them, fair play to them. They did really well to get out of the group that they were in as well. Bearing in mind, Galatasaray, really big club. Bayern Munich, monstrous club. I mean, of course, United were in there as well, but I mean, they finished bottom. So kind of expected, really. Copenhagen, it was a 3-horse race, let's be honest. A 3-horse race. Manchester United finished where they belong. Rock bottom of the group. But Manchester City, their team that they've put out, Pep Guardiola has gone full strength. And if anything, I would say this could be, maybe not Grealish. Grealish is the only one that's up for debate. But I think this is almost Manchester City's strongest starting 11. So it shows how seriously Pep's taking Copenhagen and how little complacency has crept into his thinking. I know as City fans, we might think, yeah, it's Copenhagen, we should beat them, even though we drew 0-0 here last season. I understand why I feel a little bit like, yeah, we're going to do him. We're going to do him tonight. We should do them, really, in reality. But Pep doesn't think like that, and that's why we are where we are. That's why we have the privilege of thinking like this, because we can sit back and relax knowing Pep Guardiola is our manager, and he ain't going to let the players chill out and get complacent. He's going to send them out with a point to prove. You know, go and get that Champions League again. 2 in a row, please. Wouldn't mind that. Absolutely not. It's going to be fantastic if we do. Really difficult because it's the cup competition, but we've got that monkey off our back now. the City will never win the European trophy. How good is it to not hear those songs as well, Blues? From clubs like Forest as well. Do you know Nottingham Forest? Yeah, well done, mate. You won a European trophy like a million years ago. Like, really well played. Very well done. But recent history is very much in Manchester City's favour. You know, champions of Europe, you'll never sing that, they said. Never is a strong word, my friends. Never came around pretty soon as well. Never became like next year. You know, never. Never, yeah, not in my lifetime. You know, all these phrases and songs that have been thrown our way, they've just been put in the bin by Pep Guardiola, and I absolutely adore the man. Adore him for doing that. I mean, genuinely, it's a man crush. I genuinely fancy the bloke. He's that good. He is that good. But, I mean, team news, I'll give it you. We've got Edison, Walker, Diaz and Ake, and that is the wrong team news I'm looking at, but I'm going off memory now, so let me just remind myself before I give you the wrong... You're probably well aware of what it is already. John Stones starts, which is really good. I imagine he's going to push into midfield. Rodri alongside Rodri. Bernardo Silva, I am picturing him on the right. Foden and De Bruyne as two sort of number 10s. Grealish on the left and Erling Haaland up top. There's only really Grealish that's up for debate as our best, certainly considering last season's formation. Last season, you'd take out Walker and put a Kanji in, and that's it. That's the same team as last season that won the treble, really. Little tweak with Foden, maybe, with his particular role in this team. But that's more or less the team that we won a treble with. So Pep's going full strength. I am pleased that Grealish is starting as well, in truth. I know a lot of City fans have torn. Some aren't torn. I'm torn on the guy. I'm very much in the middle between what's his future. I'd like to see him go more centrally. That's the side of me that wants Grealish to succeed, is drift in more centrally and become a more integral part of the team. In the nucleus of that midfield, I think he can do it. You only need to go and look at the Aston Villa highlights. You know, if you haven't, I recommended people do it in the last video. So I recommend doing, not now, because I keep doing that in all my streams. I tell people to go and watch other videos while watching me, which is, I'm sure you don't care, but that's a streamer's no-no. Don't tell people to leave your stream, because that won't help your stream. But I keep doing it because I'm excited to give you this information. So after this game, go and watch Jack Grealish at Aston Villa and tell me that you wouldn't like to see him playing in the centre for Manchester City. He ain't going to get ahead of De Bruyne. He isn't going to get ahead of Foden. But he certainly is good enough to, you know, make multiple appearances over the course of a season, whether it be rotation or substitute appearances or stepping in for an injury, suspension, whatever it may be. He is absolutely good enough to do that in the middle of Manchester City's midfield, in my opinion. Question is, does he see himself as a rotation player? You know, does the media see him as a rotation player, considering he cost £100 million? I don't think he is, to be honest, and that's the question marks over his future. Good to see so many of you in the chat as well. Early on, we saw Douglas early parting with his wisdom. Once again, I saw you early on, mate. A lot of it went over my head, Douglas, because I did skim read that. But the stuff you wrote at the beginning, like, you are a wise man, I can tell. I can tell, mate. And you are keen to part with that knowledge. Fair play, mate. Sammy's in there. Sasha, Mahmood. Good to see you, Mahmood. Little signpost, that's James from Thailand. Yeah, I agree, mate. Just been watching City's dramatic journey to becoming European champions. It's truly emotional. It really is, mate. James, no Matteo and no Josko. He says. Detective James wondering if there's some anti-Croat behaviour from Pep. I don't think there is, mate. But it is, I think Matteo's injured. No Josko's an interesting one because I really thought he'd be playing in this game. And it's quite a high risk to not to play Nathan Ake, considering he played at the weekend. His injury record isn't great. He does pick up a little injury here and there over the course of the season. So I would have rested Nathan Ake for this game, to be honest. So I am a little bit surprised that Gvardiol didn't play a single minute against Everton and doesn't start this game either. In fact, is he even on the bench? I don't think he's even on the bench, is he? I need to remind myself of what the City bench is in a minute, but just going through the chat quickly. Danny W, good to see you, Danny. Ian, Church of the Poison Mind. I reckon Little City are going to do the Champions League double at least this season. Yeah, mate. I hope you're right. I hope you're absolutely right. Anthony, Our good friend Theory says we should win this 5-0. I hope his enemy practice agrees. I hope you're right, mate. Section 20, good to see you, Marek. Good to see you, Marek. Issa's in there. We've got Alan, Darren, mate. Long time no see, Darren. How you doing, mate? I haven't seen you in a while. Good to see you, mate. Cortez, as always, good to see you, my friend. Nick Knack, good to see you again, my friend. J.A., Vinny, Michael, Marie, Coogan, Jack's back, and I am Buggen, by the way. Is that Buggen? Jack? Oh, look who it is. Is that Buggen? Oh, Buggen is the biggest Jack Grealish fan in the world, who's now changed his name to Coogan. I'm going to have to ask you what the hell that Buggen and Coogan means, mate. But either way, the biggest Jack Grealish fan is in the chat. Once again, because Jack Grealish starts. The last time I saw you was the last time Jack Grealish starts. So where the fuck have you been, my friend? But yeah, good to see you, mate. And Bam Bam as well. Khaled, appreciate it. Mate, Khaled, you're so good of you, Khaled, mate. You've popped up numerous streams, Khaled. You are rocking up with a really big donation, mate. And it's so generous and so appreciated. Really, really good of you, mate. It's so good of you. It fills me with confidence at the start of a stream as well, knowing that you're willing to do such a nice gesture as well. Thank you so much, mate. Really appreciate it. Russ, good to see you, Russ. Stefan, Sanjeev, welcome to football. Adam Lee, Travis, yours truly, Hannah, good to see you, Hannah. Lachel Bleu popping in at the last second just before I move swiftly my attention to the football. I'm not nervous about this one. I'm a little bit arrogant, if anything. I feel a bit, it's that feeling that you double think yourself, don't you? You overthink, you think this is done and dusted. But every time I think that, we could drop points, you've got to be careful. Actually, nothing to worry about. I'm actually a little bit out of breath because I did some kick-ups outside that door before the game. And does anyone else do this where if you achieve a certain thing like throwing a piece of rubbish in the bin, if you do it, you're going to win the lottery? Something like that. Does anyone else do that? I don't do it with such grandiloquent things like that. I do it with a little bit smaller things like Man City going to win the Champions League. I did 50 kick-ups and I had to achieve 50 kick-ups with 5 minutes to go. It was at 19, so 40 minutes past 7. I started doing kick-ups outside. 50 kick-ups, City win the Champions League, done. Did it, mate. It took me like 2 goes. Not that I'm bragging or anything. Not that I'm bragging. It was a sponge ball as well, so a little bit. One of the kick-ups did actually come off the walls, but it didn't hit the floor, so I think that counts. So, City winning the Champions League. It's as simple as that. 50 kick-ups said so. We're winning the Champions League. We're absolutely doing it, mate. We're doing it. Yeah, buzzing. Teams are out. Let's have a listen to that Champions League music and listen to the boos of Manchester City fans. You can't quite hear the boos. Champions! I don't know. Are we still booing it? It's mad how we're still booing it. It's kind of funny, to be honest, the fact that we own the trophy that we boo. And those lads as well, and lasses, girls, I'm sure there's both sexes that there are as well, who do that fucking waving the flag, man. They have got to have some serious biceps, haven't they? It's forearm workout. It's that one with the gym ropes, with those ropes that belong on a ship, where you've got to flick it like that and go, fuck it, I'll do that with the Champions League thing as well. And they practice all week. Imagine the rehearsal of that. Doing that in an empty stadium, you must feel like a right plonker. Just like fucking doing with a thing. It reminds me of those kids parties that you go to where you send your kids underneath and they've got to find something underneath those things, but there's no children. It's just for the entertainment of us to watch, and there'll be no car bringing the ball out as well. I do enjoy those little details that the UEFA and FIFA try to throw up. With that was it a little mini that brought on the ball, little remote control car that carried the football onto the pitch. These little things, man, it's getting crazy, isn't it? Football nowadays, light shows, all of that's getting crazy in the Champions League. But game's about to get underway. What are you predicting, Blues? Saw a 6-0 in there. Messi's gone 6-0, calling it. I'm gonna go. What did I say in my preview? I said 3-1, maybe 2-1. I'm pretty sneaky with my predictions. I do tend to go... I give 2 scores just to like cover the bases a little bit. I went 2-0 Everton, but I said 3-0 Everton, maybe 2-0. See how I covered it? I got it right because I said 2-0, but I also said 3-0. This time I've said 3-1, maybe 2-1. I feel like it's going to be a closer game than a lot of City fans think, though. I think 6-0 or 5-0. 1-1 draw Travis has gone for. Do you know what? That wouldn't be the end of the world. It wouldn't be great for form because, 10 wins in a row. I wouldn't mind it being 11. For a momentum factor, I think we need to win this game. But we drew here last season and then we beat them 5-0 at the Etihad. So I have every confidence that City, because they're not good travellers, Copenhagen, at all. They're really not. We weren't last season. We drew 5 away games in a row in the Champions League. Game's about to get underway. Champions League is back. And we're off. Old biggies. And not these. Then you know what? Are they red? Do you know what I've noticed? In all my night matches, I get red ears, like really red. But in a day, fucking hell, Copenhagen are in it. And they've cleared it. There's been a foul already on Rodri. High boot from Victor Claesson. Rodri's, he's getting up. He's getting up. He's all right. Panic station's already there. Class Charles, good to see you. 4-0 Blues has gone for. Clara as well. Good to see you, Clara. Mark Harris, hey up Jonny, come on City. Hey up Mark, how are you, my friend? Ruben Diaz on the ball, who is the only man I want to see get a yellow card today. And if anything, just kick someone already, Ruben. Anyone wondering why, it's because he's 1 yellow card away from a suspension. And I think we can survive the second leg without Ruben Diaz. Whereas God knows who we could draw in the next round. It could be a big team, which we will very much need Ruben Diaz for. So I think get it out of the way. Get the yellow card now. Be suspended for the second leg against Copenhagen. And then he's got a clean slate going from the quarters onwards, And it should be all right, that. I'm hoping he... I don't know. What's he going to do? Just tell the referee, you got to be careful, though, because you could end up getting sent off. If you're not careful, looking for a yellow card, you could go over the top. Mark's gone for a scruffy 1-0. Let Love lead 5-0 City. Lots of high scores from City. It could easily be. And I don't think it's unrealistic to say 4 or 5-0, to be honest. These guys haven't played competitive football for 2 months with their winter break. But that can go 2 ways, that, can't it? You can think, right, rusty, match fitness not quite there, the energy levels from, the adrenaline might take over too much and your energy levels from a match day isn't quite there. But then it could be a case of got a point to prove, fresh, it could be, you could look at it in so many different ways. I think it works against you. Personally, I think City are better at this stage of the season. But we have more fixtures. But I think that's because of form, momentum from Manchester City. I think it's better to play more games. Because it's like they don't want to not play football. It's like, chomping at the bit to get back on the grass and play some football. 2 months of not playing football. It's quite, to be fair, league football. They have played a few domestic games. So that is competitive football technically. But it's not like, their league, for example. Jack Grealish down the left. Is he going to beat his fullback? He tucks it back to Nathan Ake, whips it in, and it's Kevin De Bruyne's header, who should have done a lot better in truth. De Bruyne himself holds his hands to his head and thinks, you know what, that should have been 1-0 already. He stopped his run a little bit. It's an unbelievable ball from Nathan Ake. Absolute perfection from Nathan Ake. And De Bruyne's run, he's running into the box and he sort of stops, thinking it's curving back onto it. It doesn't curve quite enough. And if he carried on with his run a little bit, he'd have got more of his forehead on that one. Phil Foden looks like he's playing on the right and Bernardo Silva's in the middle. Or is he? Phil Foden's just drifted in. Kyle Walker's offering some width and he's getting the ball right now from a lovely diagonal ball. He tries to nod it into the path of Kevin De Bruyne, but it's cleared by Deeks. Farhan Darts on 3-1 to City. If you could drop a like on the stream, guys, as well, please do. And consider subscribing if you're new. Jack Grealish, ball inside to Bernardo Silva, Nathan Ake. I'm surprised Ake's playing, I must admit. Big M, good to see you, Big M. 2-0 City, you've gone. So Grealish is definitely offering the width down the left. And there's Foden on the right. So Foden is sort of playing a right winger right now. He just tucked inside, and it seems it's the fluidity of Manchester City's formation. The thing is, with Pep Guardiola's side, you might as well throw these graphics in the bin. They are pointless. They're pointless because the players never stay in those positions. They are constantly transitioning with one another. Constantly. I need to put a heat map up here instead. It makes more sense. Just to eventually, player by player, who's playing where. If you really want to know where they are, you need to use a heat map. Because these players do not stay in the positions that they are assigned to on paper. You know, Phil Foden right now is playing on the right wing, but I guarantee throughout the game he's going to tuck inside multiple times and allow Kyle Walker on the overlap. Which is a good thing. That's not a complaint. I sounded like I was whinging. It's difficult to explain, isn't it? As you're analysing City and talking about City, it's Pep Guardiola's just introduced such a new way of thinking. It's amazing. I love it. Absolutely love it. It's a free kick to City. Good 40 yards out. I think John Stones, who's pushing into midfield, was clipped. Kevin De Bruyne picks up the ball, and it was Maatsen. Yeah, I'm not sure what Copenhagen are doing, speaking of formations as well, because they've got 3 centre-backs on the pitch. One which I wasn't expecting. Quick free kick down the right wing. Bernardo Silva dinks it in. John Stones and Ruben Diaz. Nathan Ake rebound over the bar. Oh, that should have been 1-0. Could have been 2-0 already, 6 minutes in. Kevin De Bruyne has had a golden opportunity with his head, and that looked even clearer. It was Ruben Diaz with a big header, Grabara with a big save, rebounded, pushed it out to Nathan Ake. It was a difficult one for Nathan Ake. Let's have another look at this, because it is behind him. Yeah, there's not much he could do, because the save is parried out to Nathan Ake, and it's gone behind him, and he's trying to hook it back towards goal. And getting a touch on it was difficult enough, let alone putting it on target, to be honest. It looks ugly because he was so close and it went over the bar. But, I mean, in reality, the position of his body, it was really difficult to get that in the back of the net. But 2 opportunities for Manchester City. Lovely ball from Kevin De Bruyne down the left-hand side is Bernardo Silva, who pushes it further left to Jack Grealish. He's got no options. Kyle Walker's suddenly down the left wing with Kyle Walker. What is he doing there? I think he realised and so he just moved away all of a sudden. It's a corner ball to City. This looks good so far. I'm pleased with the start. I think City want to get this game done and done now, you know, and then we could potentially, you know, if we take a 3 or 4-0 lead back to the Etihad, we could rest De Bruyne's and potentially Haaland. A beer glass has just been thrown from the crowd to Kevin De Bruyne. Nowhere near him, in fact. Short one. Into Bernardo Silva. Back to Kevin De Bruyne. Lays it onto the edge of the area to Jack Grealish, who cuts it to the middle of the edge of the area is Phil Foden. He has to turn back, though, to Kyle Walker. Kevin De Bruyne. Lots of space for Bernardo Silva, but that space is closed down. He's going to go back. Oh, he took it inside to Jack. That's a big foul as well. Bloody hell, referee. Jack Grealish has just been absolutely fucking clattered by Clyson. Right on the edge of the area as well. I was watching Jack Grealish eat Chinese food before. Did anyone else watch that on the City website? I enjoyed that, to be honest. I'm like Jack. Anything salt and pepper is so good from the Chinese. It was good to see the relationship between Nunes and Jack Grealish. The two have obviously never met, but they seemed to get on really well. But they just kept saying to each other, like, what's wrong with you? And then Nunes was like, but in a Portuguese accent, I'm not going to try that. But he was like, what's wrong with you? Do you know what I mean? It was good to see. I bet there's a really good atmosphere in that dressing room. It plays a big factor into, you know, winning trophies and that cohesion. Free kick from Kevin De Bruyne, and it's hit the wall. Up in the air off the head of I think it was Clyson who got his head on that in the wall. Kevin De Bruyne is looking to bring that down. A bit of a sloppy touch from him. But he's going to poke it. He's nicked it away. He's going to use some strength. But now Copenhagen bringing it away. It's been a good start from City, in truth. Yeah, Nunes hates vegetables. That surprised me. A footballer that doesn't eat vegetables. It's odd that, isn't it? Not even any vegetable. Yeah, the City media team's like so good. Like the videos that they do now are really, really good to watch. Like some of them are a little bit like, you know, all right. Like I do like to watch the training ones and things like that to see who's laughing and joking in training. You can pick up on little subtle cues and body language in training. Kevin De Bruyne has been fed to the byline. He's going to crest the goal and he's going to make it 1-0 to Manchester City. It's been coming. It's been coming. It really has. Such simple football, to be honest. And this spells a bad day for Copenhagen. 1-0 down with 10 minutes to go already. And it was cut open so easily. Phil Foden slots it down the outside channel to Kevin De Bruyne. And you're thinking he's going to whip this across the face of goal. But none of that from KDB. He drills it hard and low right into the bottom corner. It's a lovely finish. Really simple. I mean, the thing is, it's so far in the corner from Kevin De Bruyne. I was thinking keeper should have done better there. He didn't get that much power on it. Sort of passed it. But it's precision. Doesn't need the power with that level of precision. It's the speed. There's no backlift in his kick. Kevin De Bruyne, he's a master at that, isn't he? Just that bang. He didn't look like he was going to shoot. I mean, Phil Foden's face there screams confidence, let's say. I nearly said arrogance. I'm going to call it confidence. 1-0 Manchester City. And I think that's going to be the first of many looking at how this game's panning out so far. Which is great news. King Kevin. Issa, absolutely, mate. I don't think Haaland's touched the ball yet. I don't think he has. Kevin's on fire. Your defence is terrified. Jack Grealish doing that celebration with Rodri. He was absolutely shit-faced, wasn't he? He was pissed as a fart, screaming into the camera. Rodri's on fire! That was so good. That's the thing with Jack Grealish. I love the guy, and I love him off the pitch more than I do on the pitch, unfortunately. Bloody hell, Ruben Diaz with a iffy ball to Foden, but he brings it down beautifully. Phil Foden's coming inside, knocks it back to Kyle Walker. There's some definite memories of Jack Grealish on the pitch. You know, that second goal against Arsenal. He scored helped us take the lead against Liverpool last season at the Etihad. It might have been the League Cup actually, but I can't remember. But I know Jack Grealish scored against Liverpool last season. He scored against Wolves early on, like first few minutes. It was a decent goal as well. So I've got good memories of him on the pitch, but I've got better ones of him off the pitch, which isn't a good sign, is it, really? Let's be honest. You know, with his high-vis jacket and coming onto stage, like, with his little beers, like. Nathan Ake, down the byline. We are toying with them, to be honest. Kevin De Bruyne's ball into the box is half cleared by Yellert. Foden's closing him down. There is the, I don't know if he is Danish actually, but there's the Copenhagen version of Foden on the bench. Fodalt, I think his name is, if I remember rightly. And it's Froholt. And he's number 47. Froholt and number 47 Foden. Just kind of forced that together a little bit there, but they're both number 47, which I thought was weird. Let's hope the... Here we are. Hang on a minute. Kevin De Bruyne. It's a good tackle, that. From Deeks. What's the poll saying? I did a poll ages ago, didn't I, when I started it? So we've got 83% think Manchester City. are going to win the Champions League. 3% think other. I haven't seen it in the comments, but it'd be interesting to see who other could be outside of Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, and Man City. I think Barcelona are fourth favourites, and then I think Arsenal. I'm going to end that poll. I think Arsenal are fifth favourites. But that's another factor as well, looking at the Premier League side of things. Because right now, Liverpool are playing reasonably well. You know, they did all right against Burnley. Not in the first half, in truth, but eventually their class shone through against Burnley. Arsenal obviously wiped the fucking floor with West Ham. I mean, it's difficult because I think Arsenal played well, but West Ham were just like, score a goal, mate. Have a goal. Do you feel like scoring? Well, there's the net. Go and put it in. You know, they were really like, very much like waiting to be beaten. You know, they didn't put up much of a fight. Hence the 6-0. But West Ham, and especially David Moyes' teams, they don't get beaten 6-0. So bad news is that who cares really from a title race perspective? We aren't thinking about West Ham, let's be honest. But the confidence that's going to give Arsenal is worrying. That bothers me a little bit. But now that the Champions League is rocking up, Liverpool have got Europa League to worry about, which is even worse because that really gets in the way of fixture congestion. Arsenal are going to be tested now. Let's see if you can split your resources evenly amongst the competitions. You know, can you play full strength in the Champions League and the Premier League, or are you going to put all your eggs in the Premier League basket? You know, is that what they're going to do? City can do both. We've seen it. Pep's got enough integration in there with his squad that you take one player out and put another one in. Very little changes. Whereas Arsenal, I feel like they do have key players that if they don't play, they are a different team. We've only really got a couple, and I think Rodri is our main one. Without Rodri, we're a different team. People would say Haaland. Well, we've not had Haaland for 3 bloody months. You know? We closed the gap on Arsenal and Liverpool without Haaland. Well, he was there. The gap got bigger at the start of the season. Then he got injured and the gap closed. I'm not implying that Haaland is the problem. I'm saying that that's how good we are as a squad. You know, we closed that gap when he wasn't playing. Kevin De Bruyne was out for 5 bloody months. You know, he's supposed to be a key player. Oh, what's Jack doing here? He's gone down injured. It's a serious one as well. He just passed the ball and he just looked devastated. Jack's going off. Oh, you got to feel for the guy, man. He's not having his form isn't great. And this is the perfect opportunity to build some form. Oh, he's gutted. Oh, mate. I feel for him, man. His face is just absolutely... He looks heartbroken, mate. It looks like a serious one. It might be his groin, to be honest. He was holding that area. Oh, not good. Not good. Oh, I'm gutted. Gutted for him. I can't see him staying on the pitch with his reaction. But what does that mean for Jeremy Doku? Is he going to start? Is he going to come on now, sorry? Because, I mean, no one's been warming up. So you need to get out on that touchline, running up and down as much as you can. Yeah, drop a like on the stream if you've just joined. Good to see you, Timmy, up there. I see you. Fucking hell, Jax. That's salt and pepper prawns, mate. Shouldn't have had too much salt and pepper. It's fucked you growing up. Sergio Gomez, TK's suggesting. And remind me who's on the bench. We've got some kids on there. We've got Sissoko. We've got Jacob Wright. We've got 2 goalkeepers. And that's because of the Champions League. We field more players, don't we? Doku's on the bench. Bob's on the bench. Of course, Sergio Gomez isn't even there anymore. He's off, in my opinion. From what you've reminded me. There is rumours that Sergio Gomez is leaving the club. And unless he's injured, he hasn't been in the squad for a couple of weeks now. So I have a feeling he's done with City, which is a shame because we didn't really get to see him play too much. Russ is thinking Oscar Bob. I wouldn't have a problem with Oscar Bob. Yeah, Ade Gomez is leaving City. I think you're right, mate. There's nothing confirmed with that, but there is some clues to suggest that he's off. Jack Grealish is still thinking about coming back on, though. He stood on the touchline. His reaction was like, I'm done. He was nearly in tears, mate. He looked absolutely heartbroken. It's not just City, though, that he'll be thinking about. He's obviously loves City and he respects the club and he's going to work his hardest for Manchester City, but he's also got England to think about. Sloppy ball from Ruben Diaz there into John Stones is intercepted, but nothing came of it. Oh, Jack, mate. You're going to make it worse. We don't need any heroes, mate. We don't need a hero. Just go and get yourself wrapped up. I think he's come on just to make 11 players on the pitch, which is commendable. And Doku's coming on. He's come on just to be an 11th man that's going to walk about. Edison plays the ball outside to Bernardo Silva, who's got that free role that I love when he's got that role. I don't think Bernardo Silva ever has his greatest games. Whenever he's like a fixed winger, like a right winger fixed in that position, he never really has his greatest games. The greatest games from Bernardo Silva is when he's got that freedom. Even if he is on the right, Bernardo Silva's just booted the ball out saying, we're having a substitution, mate. He's absolutely leathered it into Rose Ed. And Jack Grealish is off. Jeremy Doku's on. A pat on the arse from Pep Guardiola onto Jack Grealish. Oh, I feel for him, man. Feel for him. Hey up, Jeff. Good to see you, mate. Had to shovel lots of snow. No way. Snow in your way, then, I'm guessing. He's injured, Jeff. Picked up a little, I think it was groin injury. Oh, he's got a face like a smacked arse, mate. He looks absolutely gutted. I feel for him, man. And that's good to see him so, it's not good to see him upset, but, that shows how much he cares. How much he cares and he wants to play for Manchester City and do well for Manchester City. Oh, I'm gutted for him. I'm gutted for us, the club. Albeit he might not be everyone's favourite player in the world right now, especially with Jeremy Doku, who's just like so exciting to watch. But we're going to need Jack Grealish over the course of the season. We need him. Games like this were perfect for Jack, And now Pep's hand's been forced and he's going to have to play Jeremy Doku, who and Doku's picked up an injury this season as well already, hasn't he? So he's not immune from getting injured. I'm not seeing any opportunity for Ruben Diaz to get booked, though. I mean, Copenhagen have barely touched the ball, so unless he tells the referee to piss off, he ain't getting booked tonight. Bernardo Silva to the byline. He dinked it in, and it's gone off the bar by the looks of it. What the bloody hell happened there? Nearly was an own goal. Clipped onto the bar, I think, but that was like a blur. Phil Foden's shot saved by Grabara. I think that hit the bar then. It was like a blur. The ball from Bernardo Silva fired across the face of the goal. We'll get a better look at it from this angle. And it has. He's defended. It's Vavro who's nodded it onto the crossbar and got away with one there. Copenhagen should have been 2-0. We've got a Copenhagen player down now in the box holding his ankle. Cross has been blocked by Foden and it's a corner to Copenhagen. William, how about KDB? He's just amazing. KDB is my GOAT. And one of the reasons I love City so much, mate, fair play. He absolutely is a unbelievable football player. He's had a long time out as well, Not just this particular period, which was 5 months, but almost every season he's missing for 3 games, 4 games, maybe more. Obviously, this season was a huge amount of time out. Corner ball's going to come in from Copenhagen. It's dangerous as well. Cleared by Ruben Diaz. That was a good corner, that, right into the danger zone. But no one there for Copenhagen except Ruben Diaz. Ball's going to come back in, though. Ake gets underneath it, clears it. Vavro, cross cleared. Rodri's going to bring it away. Kevin De Bruyne is looking to mount a counter-attack. It's got Phil Foden on the right. Sprays one out. Phil Foden trying to find his partner and Kevin De Bruyne. And De Bruyne has brought down Yellert. And it's a free kick to Copenhagen. We've got Foden down injured now. Fucking hell, this could be a disastrous evening. Regardless of the result, we need to come away injury-free, and we can't be losing Phil Foden. Jack Grealish is not someone I want to lose either, but with all due respect to Jack, I think we could survive the rest of the season without him. Not ideal. It might cost us in some games not having a player like Jack Grealish. But Phil Foden is absolutely not someone we can afford to lose, and he looks in agony as well, you know. I want to see if there's an impact. Because if it's impact, he might be all right. Yeah, it's impact. So hopefully that's just a crack to the knee, which is incredibly painful for about 5 minutes, and then it just goes away. But if he's pulled something, fucking hell. How's it going, Tuna? And Eric. Good to see you, Eric. Vavro with that little header. It was a lovely header from Vavro, just like bonk. Just trying to get anything on it from a Bernardo Silva little cross. Diverts it towards his own goal and off the bar. Could have been 2-0. Just having a quick listen to see, because Foden's not moved, you know. He's still on the ground, Phil Foden. Oh, no. He's walking all right. Yeah, he's walking all right. He gave a little bit of, like, body language. Yeah. It's all good. Physio just went like that to Phil Foden, like, is it an impact? Because they hurt for a short amount of time. But then they sort of fades a little bit. You might feel it in the morning, but it's not like you're out for 3 weeks or 4 weeks or worse. And he's already trying to get back on the pitch, Phil Foden, so nothing to worry about. Shitting myself then. Long ball over the top for Yellert to chase. Nathan Ake is going to corner him there. And he's done well there, Nathan Ake. And Jeremy Doku's going to bring it the other way now. He's got a long way to go. He's still in the City half. He's trying too much there, Jeremy Doku. There was 2 or 3 passes were on there. 2 or 3 passes. He had multiple options. He had Rodri inside. I think Bernardo Silva went on the overlap for him, or underlap rather, offered something down the line, and rather than pass it, he tries to beat his man. Sometimes, Jeremy, just pass it simply. It's amazing to watch how easy you beat players, but sometimes, just pass it, mate. Like, it's simple. Foden on the right, he looks fine. Foden's fine. Look at him sprinting already. Good. Foden's fine. Just like I said, impact injury. They're the worst, though. You know, like inside the knee, when it cracks that joint in your knee. Honestly, it's like so bad. You do it on like a table leg as well. It's like the sort of injury you can pick up like at a desk. You just turn at your desk, go bonk on your knee, and you're like, fucking hell, for like 5 minutes. And then you're fine after that. Jeremy Doku down the left-hand side with pretty much the whole Copenhagen team surrounding him. It's been really good from City so far. They've completely killed any sort of game plan from Copenhagen. They've offered nothing. They had a corner about 5 minutes ago that's nothing really to worry about. Long ball was intercepted there. Looking for Phil Foden on that right wing. Haven't seen much of Kyle Walker getting forward. There was that little opportunity at the beginning of the game where Kyle Walker went down the right wing, which we've been seeing a lot of this season. But so far, it's been Phil Foden occupying that right wing. Rodri, ball to Doku, first time cross, fuck me, Erling Haaland, what the fuck was that? Jesus Christ, just the athleticism from Erling Haaland then. There was just like, I don't know how to describe it, there was just limbs everywhere. There was like a leg there, a leg down there, an arm that way and an arm that way. And it's Erling Haaland again, and it's into Rodri. He's got to lay it off to Doku. Doku's first time shot, it's deflected, and it's cleared off the line. Bernardo Silva's shot, it's ricocheting everywhere. This is chaos. John Stones' touch is too heavy. Phil Foden's going to keep that ball alive, and Copenhagen get it away. But fuck me, what the hell was that from Erling Haaland? I'm talking about it positively because he nearly scored an unbelievable goal. It was a long ball over the top to Doku, who first time on the volley, left foot, cushions it with his side foot across the face of goal, and Erling Haaland just comes flying in like a bull out of a gate. Absolutely mental. But De Bruyne into the box. It's going to land to Rodri, but it's good tackle. Bernardo Silva, shot, he's loved. Oh, he tries to chip it over Grabara, who didn't get enough on it, Bernardo Silva. I want to see that again from Erling Haaland. What the hell was that? That was so, like, unorthodox. Do you know what I mean? You just don't see football players, like, their bodies shouldn't move like that. Do you know what I mean? He's so unusual, isn't he? In a good way. In a good way. I love him, man. That effort was so unique. Oh, this is a battering for Copenhagen so far. If City can just be a little bit more clinical with their final pass, this could be done and dusted before half-time. And I'm talking about the tie, not the game. I'm talking about the tie. Here we go. Bloody hell, how did he not hurt himself? He jumped like above the goalpost. What the fuck is that? Like, Jesus Christ, look at the state of him. I mean, that must hurt just landing. He has no consideration of the fact that you're about to come crashing down on the floor. He just throws himself into the sky, you know, and he's just like on his side, not bothered. He's going to come crashing back down. Jesus. It's like he's angry with the grass. Copenhagen coming forward, though. The last thing in the world they deserve is a goal. And they're pushing their way down the left wing here. Getting into the box as well. John Stone's got some defending to do. It's Maatsen down to the byline. It's not cleared. Bernardo Silva gets it away. And the first little glimmer of hope for Copenhagen. And it wasn't a small glimmer of hope, to be honest. They were in the penalty area. He got to the byline. Cross comes in. And Bernardo Silva gets it away. Cheers, Eric. Appreciate that, mate. Sun's football's been really good. Free kick to Copenhagen. Yeah, he was at football training today, my lad. And he was doing really well. He did really well. They played him with the good players today. With all due respect to my son, he's only just started playing football like 6 months ago. Like, properly. And the lads, the team that he plays for, the majority of them have been playing together since they were like 3. You know what I mean? Like, so they're all like intensely good players. But he put on a good show, man. He didn't look out of sorts. He put it in amongst them. He struggled a little bit here and there, but I mean, like, his attitude, man, he's spot on. That's all I can ask for him. So thanks for asking, mate. The family's good. Cheers, Eric, and I hope your family's treating you well and you're all good as well, mate. Kyle Walker. That's a Copenhagen throw. Clearance from Kyle Walker's ricocheted off a Chori. And on to Kyle Walker out for a throw-in. What's the referee doing here? He's telling Kyle Walker to calm down. Didn't think he needed to be told that, to be honest. He seems reasonably calm to me. No, Clara. Unfortunately not. The rat problem has not been solved. Fucking hell, Edison's giving it away. Oh, and it's a massive block from Ruben Diaz, and it's 1-1, Edison. You've gifted them a goal. Oh, Ruben Diaz with a big block after Edison's pass was just a diabolical pass from Edison. The shot comes in straight away. I think it's Goncalves. It's not he's not even on the pitch, Goncalves. Is it Elianusi who gets his shot away? Ruben Diaz blocks it. Good block from Ruben Diaz. It ricochets to Maatsen. First time effort outside the box, 25 yards out. And I mean, it's an unbelievable finish. And he's just whipped it into that far corner. And it's a gift. Another gift. Fucking Santa Claus FC, which should be called this season. Unbelievable. How many times have we just gifted opportunities and goals to the opposition from absolutely nothing? Absolutely nothing. They've not had a sniff in this game, and we've just gifted them a goal. It's fucking... And Edison punches the post. Yeah, mate. You've gifted it him. Santa Claus FC, mate. Jesus Christ. Do you reckon, Russ? I don't think Edison's been that bad this season. I don't think he's our greatest shot stopper that we've ever had, Edison. And I think that's probably the biggest mistake from Edison I've seen in quite some time. That's the sort of, like... He rarely makes those sort of mistakes, Edison. Especially, a simple pass like that. It wasn't a difficult ball. And he's just completely got it wrong. And I think the stats with regards to Edison, a lot of people are pointing the finger at him for this stat, but I don't think it's right. That City have conceded 12 times this season from the first shot on goal that we've conceded. So the opposition's first ever shot in the game, and they score. And that's happened 12 times this season. It wasn't too dissimilar last season, and no one was really talking about it last season. People have picked up on it this season, and I don't know why. But last season, the numbers were kind of the same. And it's not anything to do with Edison. And it's like, oh, he can't save anything, Edison. It's because of how open we are. Lately, we've been playing with 2 at the back, let alone 3 at the back. We've had like Ruben Diaz and Walker, or Ruben Diaz and Ake, whoever it might be. We've been playing with 2 at the back this season. I said that in my last Brentford game, and I also highlighted the fact that Akanji and Stones were pushing up into midfield alongside Rodri. So, of course, that's going to leave you open. You give the ball away. Guess what? Massive space and huge opportunities for the opposition. And the odds of Edison saving these chances, because they're not difficult chances. It's a big open space, and you get a shot on goal with all the space in the world. The odds are in the favour of the player with the ball. So it's not Edison's fault, but in answer to your question, Russ, I don't think he's been that bad, mate. But I do think he's... some people will get a bit frustrated with him. Jeff, you're a legend, mate. Quite literally, it says. It says on your thing, you are a typical City legend. 2 months of fun watching along with Jonny and the typical City crew. Jonny, any chance you like Scotch? If so, do you have a favourite? I don't like Scotch, to be honest. Do you know what? I say I don't like it. I've probably sipped it once. I've never really gone out of my way to drink it, to be honest, mate. Don't know, if you're looking for a drink that I enjoy. Are you planning on sending me something, Jeff? Are you being a sneaky gift giver? Because we've had enough gifts for one night from Edison, thank you very much. But hang on a minute. John Stones into the penalty area. It's going to be a corner ball, that. Oh, it's a goal kick. Appreciate that, Jeff. You're a top man, you really are. Still haven't forgotten what you've done for this channel, mate, because without you, I would not be able to... watch the 3 o'clock kickoffs. And thankfully, I haven't needed to, because there's been bugger all 3 o'clock kickoffs this season for City. The one 3 o'clock kickoff that there was a little while ago, and I was ill for it, and I missed the watch along. But, no, not a big Scotch fan. I'd be open to try it, though. That's the thing. There was things I hated as a kid, certain foods and drinks that you hate as a kid, but then you grow up and your taste buds change, don't they? It's weird. Copenhagen are looking for a second here. They're in. They're into the penalty area and they've ballooned it over the bar. Thank God for that, because that was a massive opportunity. Kyle Walker's having a right go at Phil Foden here, saying, why have you not tracked your man? And he hasn't. He absolutely hasn't. Phil Foden switched off there and Maatsen gets in looking for his second goal. Luckily, he's smashed it over the bar. Yeah, 2 months of being a member, Jeff. Appreciate that, mate. You don't have to send me anything, Jeff. But I appreciate that. Hope you're still enjoying the City shirts that I sent you, mate. And you wear them every day. Kyle Walker receiving the ball, 40 minutes approaching. Foden on the right. It's killed it. It's taken the sting out of the game, you know, this has. That goal. Frustrating. It's been us all season, this. You know, playing really good football. And what's crazy is when we play badly, we don't give any opportunities away. I thought we were well below par against a lovely ball into the box from Kevin De Bruyne, and it's going to go out for a goal kick. But just a bit ahead of Haaland's run. Yeah, against Everton, I thought we were poor against Everton. But one thing we didn't do is make mistakes. We just weren't creative enough. I thought it's credit to Everton. I thought they defended well. Their shape was really good. It didn't take much for them to stop us. So don't want to give Everton too much credit. There was sort of a bit of a middle ground there between City not quite firing on all cylinders and Everton's good shape. You know, that's why we were kept quiet until the 70th minute when Haaland just fucking batters one into the back of the net. And it was a bit fortunate how it landed to him, but you need those sort of little breaks to go your way in a game like that in particular. But in other games this season where we've conceded goals, it's been goals like that. Goals that have just been handed to the opposition on a plate, signed, sealed and delivered. Have a goal, my friends. Enjoy it. Yeah, bag yourself a goal. It's fucking frustrating. Kevin De Bruyne down to the byline, dinks it in, and it's Foden trying to chase up. And it's going to be cleared here. Achori's bringing it away. He's got Deeks on the overlap. Victor Claesson. Maatsen's in on goal. Ederson's coming out. Thankfully, Ederson was on his toes, and that's one thing side of Ederson's game that I'll never criticise. His ability to read the game. He's never switched off. His sweeper keeping abilities are really good. But right now, Ederson, you've put us in a real shit show here, mate. Doku trying to beat his fullback. Yellert has shepherded him out, and it's gone out for a goal kick. Hot's hits were charitable like that. We are quite a hospitable club. I'd rather the hospitality stay within the seating arrangements of the Etihad, though. Not on the pitch. We don't need to be hospitable on the bloody pitch. Do you know what I mean? Like, we're a very hospitable club off the pitch. You know, our away fans get the best seats in the house. Don't know what the fuck they're thinking there at the City. You know, they've only just started to split them into... They've thinned them out and split them over 3 tiers now at the Etihad. It used to be the 2 tiers because of the stadium. But they get front row seats, you know what I mean? Like, they've got the whole tier down there, the second tier behind them. You know, you go to Newcastle, you're up in the gods, the new camp. You need binoculars to see what the bloody hell's going on at the new camp. Same with United. They stick you up in the corner, out of the way. There's no hospitality from them, and rightly so. Do you know what I mean? You don't want to hear the away fans. Keep them as quiet as possible. But City, just being such a nice... family ran, well, we used to definitely be more of a family club than we are now, but still, we've not lost our soul. We are very much a hospitable club, too much so at times, and fuck me, Rodri's nearly given the ball away to Victor Claesson there, who's blocked Rodri's pass. Luckily, the ball goes straight through to Ederson and doesn't have enough pace on it to slow down and get himself another opportunity. John Stones with a pocket of space in the middle of the park. He goes into it, lays it into Kevin De Bruyne. Outside to Phil Foden. De Bruyne is offering the overlap. He's got to slow it down, but he pokes it to Kevin De Bruyne. De Bruyne to the byline. And his cross is just a bit behind all the City players and onto the head of a Copenhagen defender. Once again, needs to get these deliveries into the box a little bit better. Ruben Diaz. Phil Foden. Bursting for a pee, by the way, so I'm going to have to leg it at half-time. I have like 3 pees before the stream thinking I don't want to wee during the stream. Rubbish. Kevin De Bruyne whips it and it's blocked by McKenna. I put McKenna as right back. He isn't playing right back. I don't know what they're doing, to be honest. I think they've gone... Deeks has gone left back. Jellert's gone right back. McKenna and Vivaro are to the 2 centre-backs. McKenna, who is on loan from Nottingham Forest. The Scotsman. I think you might be right, Cooper. There is a little bit of a hecticness to the game. It's a little bit wham bam thank you ma'am, isn't it? And no one's really retaining the ball that well. I think you're absolutely right. And that's where Jack Grealish comes in, isn't it? Slowing the game down. Because it is a bit frantic. I think you're right. It is a bit loose. It's 1-touch football. Let's try and make it 2-touch football and we'll slow that game down. And heavy touch from Kevin De Bruyne. And it's fortunately landed to Bernardo Silva, who makes it 2-1. Oh, you got to take a bit of luck when it comes your way. And we get that bit of luck because somehow the ball ricochets to Bernardo Silva and he pounces like a tiger with absolute instincts that are to die for from Bernardo Silva, who just pokes it past Grabara, coming in to close Bernardo Silva down. And it's 2-1 Manchester City, right bang on half-time. Boom! Back in the game again. Right, fucking hell, Blues, no more mistakes. I mean, Kevin De Bruyne's wing play here was just incredibly sloppy, and he almost tackled his way through, and it lands, fortunately, to Bernardo Silva. And I think that's going to go down as a Kevin De Bruyne assist, to be honest, which is not something he deserves, because it was a really heavy touch, but that technically is a De Bruyne assist. He'll tell you he meant it, but there's no way he meant that. Take that, though. What a finish from Bernardo Silva. The instincts there, he was alive, he was alert, ready to pounce, and he pokes it into that far corner. Right on half-time. I'm going to enjoy my wee a lot more. I don't plan on taking a long time with it, but you just never know these days. I'm getting old. 3 minutes of injury time. Emmanuel's going wild with the dabs. That's old school dabs, man. Forgot about dabs. Smash the like button for Jonny. I'm bursting, Marie. You know what I mean? I started at like the 30th minute. It's beer. It just goes through me, and I've got the bladder of a 4-year-old. My son goes to the toilet. Like, it has better toilet habits than I do. Right, no mistakes now. Do you know? Just keep it simple. We've won this game, playing the way we're playing. I fucking can't write this. Fucking Rodri giving the ball away, and Copenhagen nearly burst into a pocket of space there. Luckily, we've slowed the game down, but that's 2 now from Rodri, which is very unlike him. Ash Wednesday or Valentine's Day. It's Valentine's Day for me, to the point where I might not be able to do the player ratings, mate. I don't think I'm going to be able to do the player ratings tomorrow because I need to do something with the missus. I promised to take her out, and we can't go out in the evening because we've got kids. So that's the life of having 2 children. You just can't go out. So we're going to do something in the day, which kills the opportunity. But I am 100% committed to this channel. Oh, hang on a minute. Foden's into the byline. Can we make it 3-1 before half-time? It's into the penalty area. Bernardo Silva's getting underneath it. He's doing a bit of keepy-up. That's going to be half-time there. I think that is. Referee is put his whistle to his lips. And he's blown half-time. He was teasing the players then, I think. He was like... And then he blows. His little wind. All the players were like... Ah! And it's half-time. But, yeah, so it's going to be Valentine's Day for me tomorrow. Not just for me. Not my special little Valentine's Day just for Jonny. But no, because without the missus, there is no typical City. So it's for the sake of the channel. I've got to keep her sweet, you know. Keep the missus happy. to allow me to do this stuff, because every time I'm here, she's looking after the kids, and without her, there is no typical City. So I've got to keep that sweet. So I might have to miss player ratings tomorrow, unfortunately, which I'm gutted about. But I will, of course, be back on Thursday, making content. We've got the preview on Friday, as well as the game against Chelsea, which is looking a bit tasty. Hopefully nothing like a 4 again. Could do without that. 4-4. That was mental. So God knows what's going to happen at the Etihad. If we play like this with the quality on the ball, we should win the game. But you can't be making mistakes like that, Edison, because Chelsea will definitely punish you. Right, sorted the clock out. I'm just going to go for a pee. I will be back as soon as I can. Don't go anywhere. Oh, it was a surprisingly entertaining first half of football. I thought it was going to be a bit of a bore fest, in truth. But I'm entertained, but not really for the right reasons. I was kind of hoping it would be boring from a Manchester City perspective, because we just wiped the floor with them and the neutral is bored, whereas Manchester City fans get to enjoy 4 or 5 goals. But that mistake has made it an interesting game. Really has. Jeff, appreciate that, mate. Get the missus a flower from the typical City family, and please tell her thank you from all of us here. Mothers are very special indeed. Absolutely, Jeff. What a very kind and warm-hearted thing you've said there, my friend. 100%. Absolutely. 100%. Job T with the poo emoji. I'm assuming you're accusing me of going for a poo. I wish I could poo that quick. I wish I could, but I like to take my time. And I am feeling better, Clara. Yeah, I'm much better. So much better. Look how red them ears are, man. Fucking Champions League big ears. Big red ears. Jesus Christ. I don't know what it does. It's night matches only. Go and look back at all the previous watch-alongs that are night matches. I've got red ears. During the day, they're perfectly normal-looking ears. But they go, like, unbelievably red during the evening. I don't know what the fuck it is. Unbelievable. They're hot as well, like... Really, really warm. I don't know what it is. That's it, mate. Boom. A ringer, yeah. They're not cauliflower ears, but I don't know. Americans are so nice in the UK. We're like, did you buy your missus some petrol station chocolates? It's true. It's true. Sad but true. Section 20. It is. Yeah. And they're expensive as well. So that's how you feel like you've done your bit, because you've spent like 10 quid on a box of milk tray that would be like 4 quid in a supermarket, but you did it on the way home, so you paid for the convenience of not having to drive further. Yeah. Hobgoblins, yeah. Do you like them? I'm getting into my ale, IPAs. Speaking of Americans, Sam Adams is actually... Jeff, if you want a drink to send me some Sam Adams, mate, because I do like Sam Adams. I'm a big Sam Adams fan. I do like my little IPAs. That's it. It's all the blood. I presume it is. Well, let's shift focus now to my ears. We had Jeff insulting my inability to grow a proper facial hair beard. Now it's all, let's shift focus on Jonny's beetroot red ears. Don't know what's next. Bramble-covered knob is probably the next insult. God, anyone who just tuned in and who didn't know where that came from, anyone who's new to the channel, like, bramble-covered knob? What's he on about? Unbelievable. But that first half, Jack Grealish, you're hoping that's not serious, because I know he's not everyone's favourite player in the world, but I think we're going to need him. I really do. I believe we're going to need him. Luckily, Phil Foden's injury wasn't quite as bad as it looked when he first went down. Just looking at that De Bruyne finish, assist from Phil Foden is absolutely delightful. Do you know one thing I've noticed since Kevin De Bruyne has returned? Might be an age thing, might be the injury. Nothing wrong with his on-the-ball ability. There's nothing changed there whatsoever. But he doesn't move quite as quick, does he? Just that little yard of speed is missing. Edison's pass there's dreadful. Lands to Elyounoussi, blocked by Ruben Diaz. And I mean, take nothing away from the finish, by the way. As bad as the mistake from Edison was, that finish, mate. That's absolutely unbelievable finish. No messing around there. Lovely goal from a Copenhagen point of view, but from a City point of view, you're gifting at them. Can't remember what I was saying, but Kevin De Bruyne, he was deceptively quick last season. You know, when you saw him burst past a player, he's got a big stride, Kevin De Bruyne, hasn't he? He moves quite quickly, whereas since he's come back from his injury, not quite as quick. There's been a couple of times, and maybe he's moving a little bit gingerly, like thinking about that injury, like I don't want to do it again, I don't want to trigger anything, so he's not moving quite as well. But there's nothing wrong with his technique, you know, his ability on the ball, his delivery into the box. That's something he'll be able to do that when he's playing five-a-side football, probably when he's 60, you know, playing with his mates in Belgium or wherever he lives. Playing five-a-side football, he will have that level of skill for the rest of his life until he can't walk. And even then you can play walking football, which is something that interests me as a potential 70-year-old. I wouldn't mind playing walking football. I wonder what the rules are with... I don't know what the rules are like. What if you started to run? Is it like a yellow card for walking football? If you're like... If a 50-year-old turns up playing with like 70-year-olds, who's this young whippersnapper knocking it about, fucking sprinting? Who the fuck's he think he is? Usain Bolt? 50-year-old, like light jogging. Yellow card, mate. Or a blue card, who knows? Could be purple by the time I'm 50, 60. We could have like 8 different cards by the time I get into my old age. Who knows? Who knows? Yeah, blue card for running. Church of the Poison Mind, we're on the same wavelength. Maybe I've got a bit of... That's the most offensive thing you could possibly say to me. I've got Scouse DNA. Why would you say such a thing? It's the most offensive thing you could possibly have said to me. I mean, that's an insult to me and to my ancestors, and just to every being, every little fibre of my being is so opposed to being Scouse. Sanjeev, sometimes our players have some undying pledge to concede 1 goal at least every match. Seems that way, mate. Seems that way. This season in particular, it's been really frustrating watching some of the mistakes that we've made. And it goes back to early days. It stood out like a sore thumb against Chelsea because I thought there was too many mistakes in that game, in the 4-4. We saw Phil Foden giving away a penalty against Nottingham Forest. Was it Forest? Crystal Palace, sorry, to make it 2-2. There was a mistake in the Forest game, albeit it wasn't exactly a goal mistake, but it was certainly a mistake. Rodri headbutting Morgan Gibbs-White. You know, that's a mistake in my book. That's stupidity. I love Rodri, but it's cost us, because we went on a losing streak after that. We lost to Wolves in the next game. Who knows what the score would have been had Rodri not been sent off and he played in that Wolves game. I certainly believe we wouldn't have lost. Maybe a draw. And right now we'd be top of the league. Who knows? Who knows? So they're adding up, aren't they? And the thing with Edison, though, that mistake that we've seen, and the good thing about the majority of the City players, in truth, and the sign of our mental capacity, is he'll try that pass in this second half. He'll go for that same ball again. He won't go, right, I made a mistake in the first half. I'll play it safe. I'll go long and get that ball away from me so I'm not in danger of making the same mistake again. He'll try an even more difficult pass. He'll probably try a Cruyff turn or something in the second half just to prove how much he doesn't care about the mistake. Haaland's the same. I've never seen anyone like Erling Haaland. Like those finishes that he put away against Everton at the weekend, after that one-on-one chance he had against Brentford, and he came on against Burnley. Don't forget, he came on against Burnley for 19 minutes. And that effort that he had was an abysmal effort that he swung his leg at it and completely missed the ball to the point where he was in stitches, laughing at himself at how bad it was. And then it was like one-on-one against Brentford the next game. Should have buried that. It was a good save by Flecken, but he should have buried that. That's the sort of thing that gets into the mind of most strikers. Most Premier League strikers will miss those chances, feel sorry for themselves, go into their shell, and they'll probably go on a barren run of 3 more games without scoring, but not Erling Haaland. Not Erling Haaland. No way. No, he goes and smashes one into the back of the net from a couple of bobbles and ricocheting in the penalty area. And the second one was a finish, just like absolutely like perfect finish. Just showcases how much the past does not matter to Erling Haaland and how much belief he has in his game, knows full well that, so what? I missed that chance. I know what I can do. I know what I'm capable of. And I'm going to do it. And I'm going to show you, regardless of what I did last week or the week before. Even if I scored last week, I don't care. It doesn't bother me. I'm here to score this week. And that's all he thinks about. Forward, forward, forward. Edison's the same on that level of mentality. Sanjeev, top man. Top man, Sanjeev. Appreciate you becoming a typical City supporter. Really good of you, mate. Welcome to the Typical City team, my friend. Anyone else who wants to join, there is a link in the description to become a Typical City member. You've got a Typical City supporter or Typical City legend. You get emojis to use in the chat. I think you got Doku, Haaland, De Bruyne, Foden, Rodri. You've even got Jeff, who is a legend amongst the chat. You can use his pretty little face in there as well. Ronaldo de Gazon. Isn't Haaland a little rusty? Not against Everton, he wasn't, mate. But, yeah, I thought he was rusty prior to that. He's not had a sniff in this game. To be fair, he had that one opportunity that wasn't... He's not even an opportunity. Doku's ball was so far behind him and so up in the air, but what his body did was scary. Like, I don't know how anyone could do that. It was gymnastics of the highest level. That's just showing Grealish actually was injured before... You know, when he went down, and that was when he was like, right, waving at the bench, I'm done. He was injured before that. They just showed it. That he grabbed his groin then. Good to see you, Michael, as well. Hope you're doing well. And Benhard. I think Edison needs to do more because mostly he does not keep clean sheets and our defence has been shaky. Yeah, I think... Some of the chances that Edison concedes, though, I was saying it earlier, mate, that I think he's one of the harshest, like harshly judged goalkeepers, because most goalkeepers tend to have a solid back four in front of them. The chances that he's going up against is pretty much always one-on-ones. You know, I mean, that one was not. That was stupid from Edison, and there's no defending that mistake that he made. I am a big fan of Edison, but there was no defending that mistake. Too big an error to not say that was your fault, mate. That was a big blow. Huge blow. But the actual shot, I think most goalkeepers would struggle to save that. The effort, the goal from Maatsen was a wonderful finish, but it was Ederson's fault that he even got that opportunity. But thinking over the course of Ederson's career, the majority of the saves he has to make is one-on-ones because of how open we play and how wide and expansive our defensive formation is, with Kyle Walker often pushing forward, whether it's Ake or Gvardiol getting forward. One mistake and we give it away, and there's acres of space for the opposition to run into, and Ederson's usually defending one-on-one situations. But what's up, Jonny? We're up, Jonny. Good to see you, Michael. But yeah, no, I know what you're saying, mate, and I think Ederson definitely needs to take that one on the chin. 100% his fault that they've scored, but we're winning the game. Let's not get too hard on him. I think the guy's entitled to a mistake here and there. I'll never forget the save that he made in the Champions League final. Last 10 minutes, second half's about to get underway and I'm not ready with the clock. Teams are out. De Bruyne is standing above the ball. Referee's teasing us again with his whistle. And he blows it. And De Bruyne teased the referee back. Oh, you old tease, Kevin De Bruyne. He's playing a bit of playing some games with the referee there. It's Valentine's Day after all, isn't it? So, well, tomorrow it is. Don't know what I'm talking about. I'm talking utter shit now. Just talking right out my arse. Foden with the ball. Walker. Ruben Diaz. No changes from either side. Same 11s in both Copenhagen and Manchester City. Hannah says, I was with all the old-time City fans for the match and they were so lovely and so welcoming and didn't judge me for not being from Manchester. That's great news. It's great news. And it's a concern of mine that I do see a lot of. I've seen it in my own comments. I had someone the other day telling me I should go to a game. Do you know what I mean? Like, then anyone who's followed this channel for more than a couple of months will know that I was a season ticket holder for 32 years. And yeah, I've been to plenty of football matches, plenty of Manchester City football matches, home and away, around the world. Lots of Manchester City viewing, and I've been there. But to be told to go to a game was almost inevitable, to be honest, because you do get that connotation of being on YouTube as some kid in his bedroom. I was kind of expecting it. But not from my own. I wasn't expecting it from City fans, to be honest. I was expecting it from rival fans. But, you know, you take it on the chin. De Bruyne into Foden, but he couldn't bring it under his spell. Copenhagen looking for a counter-attack. But no, Hannah, honestly, it's really good to hear that the City fans are showing you the respect that you deserve just being a Manchester City fan, regardless of what part of what corner of the earth that you are from. If you support City, you support City. The only thing I will say about if you're a City fan and if you're new to the club, stick with us, because there will come a time when we're shit. It will happen. We will go a season where we don't win trophies. You know, could be with Pep. Could be this season. Who knows? Who knows? We might not win a trophy this season, and if that's the case, you stick with them. Now you've picked City, you stay with them. That's the rules. That's the only rules I've ever lived by. I don't give a shit where you're from. And in fact, I'd argue that some of the fans from abroad have more dedication from some of the fans in the UK, because you guys are getting up at stupid o'clock in the morning, at 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning to watch City. That's bloody dedication. That's dedication, mate. Even regardless of the fact that you're watching it on a screen rather than in the stadium. That's dedication to me. You guys, some of the guys that I see abroad, just sit there, like, just absorbing Manchester City all day. Sit there researching and learning and watching and reading about Manchester City, going on the City website. What's the latest news? Any transfer news? Going on YouTube. Is there any City content creators making City content creation? You know, that's proper dedication to me. Copenhagen coming down the right wing. Nathan Ake with a big block. It's a corner to Copenhagen, though. Maatsen going to take this one for Copenhagen. Needs to keep him out here. No silly mistakes. Edison needs to be strong with his... if he's coming to claim it or to punch it, just make sure you make the right decision quickly. It's coming in, and it's a header. It's gone to the back post. It's not away, and Bernardo Silva gets it away. It was nodded across the goal, but I think it was Victor Claesson who doesn't get enough on it, looking for that back post, but went a bit too far away from the back post, and the danger was kind of gone there. Copenhagen brings it down with a sloppy touch from Falk. There you go, James. Little signpost pointing the way. Anyone who's wondering, that's James in the chat. It's 4:10 in the morning in Thailand. You're mental, James. That's mental. There's so many City fans in the UK that are season ticket holders, and I'm telling you right now, they wouldn't be getting up at 4 in the morning. You know, because it's so much easier to wake up during the normal hours of day. Do you know what I mean? Doku, that's a good, powerful dribble there, and a good pass to Bernardo Silva as well. Out to Foden. Down the line, Doku's found himself on the right side of the pitch. He twists onto his left foot. He lays it back to Bernardo Silva. Rodri on the edge of the area with a pretty pitiful cross, in truth. Barely gets it off the ground. Not at his greatest game, Rodri. Couple of wayward passes from him. I think that's number 3. Now, the Church of the Poison Mind, absolutely. I'm sure there are plenty of people that would get up at 4 in the morning. But there are people that wouldn't as well. Let's not pretend that every season ticket holder is as diehard as some of the fans wherever they are in the world. It's a big pocket of space for Copenhagen here. And Kyle Walker slipped and somehow got a touch on it that was pretty important. No, I'm pretty sure... are you... You're from Manchester, aren't you, Church of the Poison Mind? I'm pretty sure you are. He's got pegs on his eyelids. Wasn't it toothpicks? Wasn't that the Tom and Jerry cartoon where you put toothpicks in your eyes to watch the football? That image has just disturbed a lot of you, seeing the depths of my eyeballs. They're already big enough. Yeah, you've been such a good support of the channel, Church of the Poison Mind. On Twitter as well. I'm not very active on Twitter, in truth. You're always promoting me on there, mate. And, well, yeah, I appreciate it, mate. Really do. It's really good of you. I need to get more active on Twitter. I'm just reluctant. I don't like it. I just think it's full of dickheads, to be honest. There's plenty of decent people on there, but there's a real ability to hide, you know, people, the darkest... people's most innermost hateful thoughts and like sadistic almost like venomous hatred that inside people you can hide by a little profile picture that isn't their face, a name that makes no sense, completely hidden, their identity is completely sealed, but they say the most despicable things on Twitter. Whereas I'd rather do this, put my face on a camera so you can judge me. Ball into the box from Bernardo Silva. Foden tries a little, and he's got back there. Phil Foden's won the ball in a dangerous area. Rodri, he tries to find Erling Haaland. Do you know what I mean? That's the problem with Twitter, whereas I'd rather be on here being very open and honest, and I think YouTube is like that, especially from the creator point of view, where you can't really hide, you know what I mean? My face is on camera. Bernardo Silva bringing it down the right wing. He's got Foden on the overlap. Yeah, Issa, the thing with Twitter is, though, it's big for football. It's not just football opinions. There's a lot of information that gets put on Twitter that's legitimate as well. You know what I mean? It's like what some people might consider rumours. It's not always rumours. Ball's fed by Kevin De Bruyne. Oh, and it's a save by Grabara. And it was Rodri's little through ball round the corner into the pocket for Kevin De Bruyne. No messing around, just like his first goal. Little glimpse of goal. And he fires a shot. Going for that near post, and it's a big left hand from Grabara. Looking in for that near post. Could have been 3-1. Substitution from Copenhagen. It's Victor Claesson coming off. For Andreas Cornelius. Is coming onto the pitch. It's a great name, Cornelius. I feel like he should be a wizard. Like stirring a potion or in like a cauldron with a name like Cornelius. De Bruyne with the corner. Bernardo Silva's come short. De Bruyne doesn't use it. Whips it near post. It's a poor one and it's cleared. Doku back to Kyle Walker. Foden to De Bruyne. He's got sorry, it was Bernardo Silva off and down the line. It's a free kick to City though in a dangerous area. Crossing position. Probably favours the left footer with it being on the right hand side of the pitch. Almost on the corner of the penalty area this free kick's going to be. Cheers, Marie. Yeah, please drop a like on the stream if you've just joined. Got 250 plus watching the stream. If we could get to 200 likes, that would be amazing. It's Foden and De Bruyne thinking about it. It's going to be De Bruyne who steps over it, so it's Foden to whip it. He's gone for goal, and Grabara saw it all the way. It wasn't on really there, Phil, to be honest. And if you're going to hit it from there, you need to hit it with more power than that. Because Grabara just steps across his goal and catches it. Come on, Haaland, says James. I don't think it's really his fault that he's not had anything to do. It's just a typical Manchester City Erling Haaland performance where, you know, if you don't get the ball to him, he's pretty ineffective. But we did this against Everton, you know, and it just needs a sniff of goal and he'll make it 3-1. Jeff saying Haaland goal up next. Because Copenhagen are probably quite happy with 2-1 in truth. So I can't see them opening up and giving Erling Haaland any space. 2-1 is a great result. A 1-0 deficit going to the Etihad. It's not ideal. I'm sure they'd rather a draw or even a win, but it's not the end of the world for Copenhagen. Basically what I'm trying to say is they're still in this game. Coming to the Etihad, they're still in the tie. De Bruyne has gone down a bit easy there, in my opinion. Won the free kick. More than... it wasn't a stone waller. His touch was a bit heavy. He waits for the... he's gone through the back of him. It's a free kick. Stefan Foden is wasted when playing right wing. I sort of agree with you, mate. It's just, you know, right now, Kevin De Bruyne is dominating that midfield. Long ball over the top for Jeremy Doku to chase, but it's going to go all the way through to Grabara. Yeah, 4-1 Ade, and the game's done. They're not coming back from 4-1. No way. And 3-1, it's very, very unlikely that they'll get anything at the Etihad. They'd have to come to the Etihad and win 3-0. It's not going to happen. With all due respect to Copenhagen, that's just not going to happen. Long ball to Foden from Rodri. Lovely ball, that. Big booming pass across the field. John Stones has picked up. Haven't said his name very much in the second half, to be honest. Nearly 60-minute marks. But here he is. John Stones into the... Oh, he tries a little nutmeg there with his first touch. It was a lovely ball by De Bruyne. I think John Stones, yeah, he's offside, though. It was a good idea by De Bruyne, but John Stones' run was a little bit early. Yeah, I wouldn't have any objections to that, Cooper. Swap in Bernardo and Foden. Let Foden have this free. The thing with Bernardo Silva, though, he's not just playing centrally. He's playing a number 8. Foden's been playing a number 10 this season. You know, he's been playing behind Erling Haaland. What lovely football this is from Manchester City down the right wing with Kevin De Bruyne, Phil Foden and Erling Haaland linking up. And there is what I'm talking about. That yard of speed is not there for Kevin De Bruyne this season. Anyone who just watched that, if you're in tune with me, Yeller gets back easy. De Bruyne didn't even look close to winning that race. And it looked like an even start, to be honest. And I don't think Yellert's that quick a player, but De Bruyne has definitely lost a yard of speed since he's come back from injury. Kind of expect that. Not only just with the injury, but also his age. But what was I saying about swapping, short corner taken, edge of the area, Phil Foden to first time Doku, it's blocked. And away come Copenhagen, needs to get back here. Phil Foden, brilliant. Brilliant. Oh, and he's giving it away though. Copenhagen still can mount a counter-attack and they're coming away down the left-hand side. It's a Chori, or is it Elianusi? Whipped it in, back post, and it's a diving header that was vital from Nathan Ake. Because I tell you who nearly bloody scored. Cornelius. The wizard nearly scored. Serves me right for mocking his name. Yeah, to speak on what you were saying, Cooper. Swapping Bernardo Silva and Phil Foden. Phil Foden would therefore have to do the number 8 role, and I think he could do it. He's just got to go into, sometimes come alongside Rodri and then push up to be alongside Kevin De Bruyne, help build up the triangles. That he's not done that role ever this season, Phil Foden. He's been an out-and-out number 10 when he's played centrally. Whereas the role for Bernardo Silva, he's dropping quite deep at times. You can see him right now. He's in the City half, looking to receive the ball rather than offer to fill a pocket. You know, where Kevin De Bruyne is right now, he's in that number 10 role, right behind Erling Haaland. And here's Bernardo Silva picking up the ball off Rodri. Phil Foden really hasn't done that this season, so I think he could do it, though. It'd be interesting to see. Doku down the left-hand side. Rodri. Back to Kyle Walker. Diaz. Out to Nathan Ake. Is that when you started watching, Jeff, in 2009? What was the team when you started watching then? In 2009? I think Robinho was still there. Stephen Ireland might have still been there. Who else did we have in 2009? Had we signed Tevez yet? No, we hadn't signed Tevez yet. Maybe Adebayor. He might have been 2010. I loved Adebayor. He's a striker that no City fans ever talk about. Kyle Walker down to the byline. And it's into Grabara. Always won a corner. Yeah, I loved Adebayor. I was a big fan of Adebayor. He was a beast on his day. And the little and large, Carlos Tevez and Adebayor, I was in love with that strike partnership. Corner ball whipped in. It's deep over everybody. It's been terrible. The delivery into the box has been really poor. I hate to say it, but Kevin De Bruyne has been a big culprit to some of these crosses coming in, being really not good enough. Long ball has nodded back from Deeks into the hands of Grabara. Copenhagen, I was about to say they look in control, but they've given away to Kevin De Bruyne, and Haaland's had a first little glimmer of hope for a chance for Erling Haaland. It was well found by Kevin De Bruyne after I was just saying his crosses into the box haven't been up to scratch, but that was good enough. Onto the head of Erling Haaland, but it was a soft cross that couldn't quite generate the power with his header. And it goes straight into the hands of Grabara. You're on a plane, Jersey boy. No way. Glad I'm watching. I'm 30,000 feet in the air and you're watching little old me. Appreciate that, mate. We're playing well, mate. We're playing well. Well enough. We could be playing better. We've gifted them a goal. There's still a little slither of hope for Copenhagen to get an equaliser, to be honest. And here they come now with Achori doing some fancy footwork, but going nowhere. Falk giving the ball away. Foden's trying to bring City up the other end of the pitch. But yeah, 2-1 Manchester City, as you can see on the score. Where you flying to, mate? Where have you been? Where you going? Tell me everything. Everyone on my college team had a favourite Premier League team. Hang on a minute. John Stones. Oh, he's tried to lay it off. It was a lovely ball from De Bruyne into John Stones, who had to turn on the spin and try and lay it backwards. But Copenhagen are mounting another counter-attack, and it's a Chori coming down the left wing. He's got Cornelius in the box. I've got to stop mocking him because he's starting to pose a bit of a threat up front. Bloody Cornelius. Coming from Colombia back to New Jersey. No way. What was Jeff saying? Everyone in my college team had a favourite Prem team. Most were United, Arsenal, Liverpool and Chelsea. I chose City because I wanted to be different and I loved the colours and the history of St. Mark. Fair play, Jeff. Everyone has a reason to start somewhere. Choosing is arguably is a more logical way of supporting a team, in my opinion. I didn't have a choice. I wasn't allowed a choice. I was forced to support City. I'm really glad about that. It worked out extremely well. But make no mistake, my dad gave me no choice. Doku. Good spin by Doku. Into the path of Phil Foden. Oh, Doku with some lovely football there. The spin was brilliant. Really good from Jeremy Doku. And that's the first time I've seen some genuine spatial awareness from Jeremy Doku. Surrounded by Copenhagen players, but he feeds a ball across parallel to the edge of the area to Phil Foden, who's waiting to sweep it with his left foot. And his left foot shot is deflected out for a corner. Kevin De Bruyne is going to take it. God, what is this? Like the 10th corner or something? It looks like a... Nah, it's another one that's been cleared. Oh, lovely spin by Bernardo Silva, but it's intercepted by Deeks, and he's booted it up the other end of the pitch. This second half's dragging a bit, to be honest. The quality's not quite been there, and that looks like Oscar Højlund, brother of Rasmus Højlund, Manchester United striker. I think he's got another brother at Copenhagen, if my memory serves me. I think there's 2 Højlunds at Copenhagen, and the big brother, Rasmus, has gone to United. Is it Elias Højlund, if I remember rightly? I think he's injured. Rodri. Ake. We need a third here. Not feeling that comfortable. Jersey Escobar. Haaland with the first couple of touches he's had in this half. You know, for a guy who never gets the ball, he's been working on his first touch, hasn't he? It's not bad at all. Rodri's shot is abysmal, and he's asking for a deflection though. De Bruyne as well thinks it should have been a corner. Good to see so many Americans choosing the right team to support. Apparently, we were well ahead of the most watched Premier League team in the US by a country mile, apparently, according to certain figures. In America, it was like 34 million views or something. I can't remember the actual numbers, but it was like there was a gap of about 20-25 million compared to City and United, which was huge. Huge amount of numbers. United were like way down the list, which is great that we are, as Manchester City Football Club, making an imprint on the world. So good. Something that I would never even thought about, 2 decades ago. It's unbelievable. You're still going to get some local guys who are very much against the idea of having fans that aren't from Manchester, but ignore those. Jeremy Doku's effort! What an effort it was! Grabara with a big save again. That was flying in the top corner from Jeremy Doku. What an effort from the little wizard. And he's working his socks off down the left wing as well here. Jeremy Doku wants to do something. He wants to stamp his impression on this game. Referee tried to play advantage for Manchester City. It was quite a delayed advantage. I can see why Copenhagen are whinging there, because it was about 3 or 4 second advantage that he gave us. We lost the ball, and then he blows it back for the free kick that happened before that. And there's Jeremy Doku's effort. One for the cameras, to be honest, because Grabara, it was within reach, but it was a big leap. I suppose if there's loads of Americans in the chat, I hope you all enjoyed the Super Bowl. Not a big fan of NFL, to be honest. I know very little about it. The one thing I do know is from it is Taylor Swift is boring, man. Fucking, why has she got like the whole thing was about fucking Taylor Swift, man. The Taylor Swift Bowl. Like even here, like Sky Sports News, which is the UK like #1 sports channel. Fucking Taylor Swift non-stop. Non-stop. I do like the NBA though. I can play a bit of basketball as well. Kyle Walker into Haaland. Haaland. Oh, Oscar Højlund has just bodied Erling Haaland. Bloody hell. He's just got flattened. I've never seen that before. That's the first time I've ever seen Erling Haaland go shoulder to shoulder with anybody and come out second best. I think the momentum, let's put it down to being caught off balance, but he just got bodied then, Erling Haaland. Oof, his both feet were off the ground, in fairness to him, so let's defend him. I mean, Oscar Højlund's not exactly big, but he's just put Erling Haaland on the floor. Jersey boy saying boxing, soccer, UFC, only sports to watch. Yeah, I'm not a big UFC guy or a boxing fight. Any sort of fighting, I don't really do it for me. If I had to pick a fighting sport, though, UFC I'd prefer that over boxing, because there's a lot more going on, isn't there? There's a lot more technicality to it, and the full body is used. You know what I mean, like legs and arms, and as boxing is just like an incredibly aggressive chess match with your fists. Frying, keep saying PlayStation 5. That's right, mate. It's over there. You've message retracted now as well. But I saw it. Who's 6'4"? I'm 6'4". That's right, Jeff. I am 6'4". And 6.4 hairs on his face. Yeah, you're a bit of a shit, you, Jeff, on the quiet, aren't you? Ball into the box from Doku. And it's cleared by Rodri. He's got the cut of a really frustrated man today. Doesn't look happy. He's not had his greatest game. I think Doku's been really bright, lively. And I think, I've been critical of his end product. His ability to find a City shirt has been questionable in recent games, but today he's done all right, you know what I mean? Before he found Phil Foden on the edge of the area, and he's been sharp. And Bernardo Silva's received one right on the shin there. He looks in pain. I'm from Manchester, Samuel, if you were asking me. Partner's playing Destiny right now on the PS5. I haven't played Destiny in a while. I know what you're talking about, though. sci-fi first-person shooter, isn't it? Yeah, it's a good game. Anyone who's running, last year I had a gaming channel, which I've kept to myself for a bit. I don't know why, but I do have a gaming channel that I'm keeping on the back burner. I spent a year last year making content, video game content, because I'm a big gamer. I do enjoy my video games. Got to about 14,000 subscribers. I think it's about that, just maybe a bit under last time I looked, in a year, which wasn't too bad. And in, 6 months of doing Typical City, I'm on 10 point something subscribers, which seems to be all right as well. Very different, audience, video games and Manchester City, but they're the two things that I consider myself to be not an expert. I'm definitely more of an expert at Manchester City than I am video games. Video games is a passion, but Manchester City is like life, and it's like in my blood. Do you know what I mean? Like, gaming is just like something I love to do, whereas City's just like, I genuinely consider myself a Manchester City expert, and I'm not bragging, I'm not ashamed to admit that, but I definitely consider myself an expert. But De Bruyne's ball and is over the bar. It's another example of De Bruyne's delivery tonight. That he's been a bit wayward with his crosses into the box, in particular from set pieces. Do you know what I mean? That goal that he scored, there was nothing wrong with that. A fucking brilliant goal. Finds the pocket, the corner pocket of the goal brilliantly. Really good football from City in the first 15-20 minutes of this game. That was like the cherry on the cake, that De Bruyne goal early on, but his set piece delivery has been questionable in this game. Saw someone say Snaz. Yeah, Tuna Snaz is your favourite. So I'm guessing you're a bit older than me then. I know about the Snaz, but I played it at my childminders when I was little. I had a childminder because my parents worked long hours when I was younger, so I had a childminder for a little bit. And she had a SNES, I remember that. But my first ever console was a PS1. Marie's first Sega Mega Drive. Doku. Into the path of John Stones. That's what Doku's beat his player, then he's cooled his jets, found a City shirt. Brilliant. That's really good. More of that, Doku. Foden, we need a third here. And we deserve a third, to be honest, because over the course of the game, I think in the second half we've been a bit, it's been a bit of a struggle, but 1-2 with Haaland and Doku. Doku's got the ball. Bernardo Silva with space. He's going to dink it back post to Erling Haaland, who's clipped the bar. Oh, killer. What a goal that would have been, by the way. Some of the football that we played there, the quick, intricate passing was really crisp, clean football. Little dink cross from Bernardo Silva up to Erling Haaland. I think he gets his head on it. It's sort of ricocheted off the back of his... And it's not hit the bar, it's hit like the side, the netting, and looked like the bar from this angle. But it's actually a corner. It came off the back of Vavro's head. Atari 2600. Amstrad 64. We've got some retro gamers in the chat. That's cool. Nunez has come onto the pitch. Not sure who for. I would guess Bernardo Silva because he was writhing in pain a little bit. But is he still on the pitch? Can't see him. I would guess Bernardo Silva's come off. I'll let you know in a minute. But Nunez is on the pitch, taking a short corner with De Bruyne. The link-up play has been good. De Bruyne's ball into the box. Another one that's been cleared by Copenhagen. Phil Foden's volley was bound for the group of City fans that are sat behind the goal. The moment it left his foot, that was going over the bar. Private. By the sounds of it, there are at least 3 Dokus playing. Please say their first name so we know who has the ball. There's only one Doku playing, mate. Only one Doku. He's just got the ball all the time, mate. That's why. Michael's a big Nunes fan. Watching City is like watching the M&M show. Lovely ball. Attempted that by Phil Foden. First time tries to sweep it round the corner to Erling Haaland into the path. But it was a good bit of defending by Vavro. Stops that ball getting to Erling Haaland, who was going to get on the end of that for a one-on-one. Jack Grealish's injured jersey. He came off in the first half with a groin injury, which is really unfortunate. He looked devastated as well. He looked absolutely heartbroken because it's like a real opportunity for him. Here's Jeremy Doku, and he's given the ball away. And Ruben Diaz steps across and intercepts it. Really good. Quiet game for Ruben Diaz, in truth. Not much to talk about. Not much to do. He blocked the shot after Ederson's mistake. It unfortunately landed to Maatsen, who whipped it into that bottom corner to make it 1-1, in fact. Other than that, Ruben Diaz is very little defending to do. I haven't told you about what's going on else in the Champions League as well. There's only the other one game, isn't there? Real Madrid are beating RB Leipzig 1-0. That's an injury-riddled Real Madrid as well, because I'm pretty sure Jude Bellingham's out. It is sad, Jersey. It is sad. I feel for the guy. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I would rather him be on the pitch and be able to talk about him in any sort of way, whether both ends of the spectrum, whether he's playing well, whether he's playing bad. But to have the opportunity to prove yourself after so much doubt has been brought to the surface about your time at Manchester City and your future at Manchester City, to when you get robbed of that opportunity to prove people wrong, it's got to be infuriating. You know, because this is a really good opportunity for him. Could have bagged an assist, could have got a goal. Who knows? Who knows? But we'll never know now because he's gone off injured and he looked heartbroken. John Stones has had a quiet game. A couple of decent touches here and there, but not much to talk about. Foden found well there, but his touch was... tried to turn on the spin, but he got caught on the ball. Nunes steps across. Referee says, get up. Well played, Mateus Nunes. Links up with Foden down that right wing. Tries to beat his fullback, but it comes off him and it's a City throw. Yeah, I couldn't believe that. Real Madrid battered Girona, didn't they? That was a real, like... you're not really their title. Like, you're not got the real like cojones for the Spanish title. How did Kevin De Bruyne keep that in? A throw in to Phil Foden, whose first time touch back to De Bruyne was a really poor one, but somehow De Bruyne like spun and kept it in with some what looked to be quite painful leg movement. To be honest, it's not been a great performance again from City this second half. I thought in the first 20 minutes we were blitzing them. We were taking them to the cleaners. Should have been 3-0 within about 10-15 minutes. After we got our goal, we just kept the ball reasonably well, did all right, nothing really bad. And then out of nothing, that Ederson mistake has just given the hope to Copenhagen. It's the last thing you should be doing in the Champions League. Rodri with a sloppy pass there, and he's pointing the finger at Kyle Walker like, why weren't you 45 yards that way? Give it to the Kyle Walker. Give him a chance, mate. He's trying to get himself out of the dirt there, but that was a bad ball from Rodri, asking Kyle Walker to sprint about 40 yards to make a bad pass look like a good one. But Rodri's not had a great game, in my opinion. I think Haaland's got another frustrated performance for him where he's just not seen enough of the ball. Winning the game, though, that's all that matters. Knockout football doesn't really matter. You just have that concern that, when you're playing well, I feel like with City in particular, playing well is important to Manchester City. Because I don't consider us to be like Liverpool. I feel like Liverpool are more, if this makes sense, it's hard to describe. I feel like Liverpool are more of a results-based team. They play on their day, they're like unstoppable and they can have scintillating performances. Look at this run from Phil Foden. But at the end of the day, they can have really bad days at the office, Liverpool. But they can churn out results. Whenever we were in a title race, I always felt like we played the better football. We were the better side. Like, we created more chances, we kept the ball better, we defended better, we kept more clean sheets than Liverpool, but they would still have pretty much just the same amount of points as us, apart from one. Just 1 point less. Deservedly so. Whereas City, we're a performance-based side. We build on quality performances. We might not, even at the start of the season when we weren't winning games, Rodri onto the edge of the area. He's got to lay this off to Doku. Finds himself on the right wing now, Jeremy Doku. Crosses the ball back post. Erling Haaland's header's nodded over everybody, and it's going to be Núñez picking it up. But does that make sense? That I feel like City's performances, in particular to Pep Guardiola, it matters to him. He wants to see, he always says, my people and my sides. I want to see my team. And when we played against West Brom about 4 years ago, and he said that wasn't my side out there when we I think we drew 2-2 or something against West Brom at the Etihad, and he said I don't recognise my team. They don't feel like my team, and that's really important. Playing well, and right now we're not playing that well, but we're getting the results, which is great. Handball, and it's going to be a yellow card, is it? Free kick to Manchester City. Handball from Copenhagen from McKenna, the Scotsman, on loan from Nottingham Forest. It's a yellow card, referee. He's grabbed that ball. If you could pop a like on the stream, please do. It really helps with the YouTube algorithm and all that. Who's your man of the match, Johnny? I don't know, I don't think De Bruyne has played well, but he scored an amazing goal. I'm edging towards Phil Foden, to be honest. From the eye test, at least. I think Phil Foden's been probably our most consistent player throughout the game. But there's a free kick here, of which Kevin De Bruyne is going to take it. And if he bangs this in top corner, then it's Kevin De Bruyne, isn't it? So I might have to answer that question in a minute. Because it's Kevin De Bruyne's free kick. Here he goes, and he's gone under the wall. Wow. And Grabara saves it, but I'm more surprised by the fact that it went under the wall. They didn't have that man who lies on the floor, the draft excluder. Which that whole thing was because of Kevin De Bruyne. Because of the amount of times he scored from free kicks that he knew that the wall was going to jump, so he'd pass it underneath the feet of the wall that all jumped at the same time. He did it against Cardiff. He did it against Bournemouth. I'm sure he's done it against another side as well. But ever since that season where he did it like twice in one season, teams have started to lie down a player behind the wall, haven't they? But they didn't do it, and De Bruyne noticed it and he tried to pass it under the wall. It was Ronaldinho. You're absolutely right, Private. Ronaldinho was one of the first to do it. I think there was a player before him. I can't remember who it was. But, yeah, Ronaldinho was definitely like one of the originals. Copenhagen have won the ball back, but really good reading of the game there by Ruben Diaz, who steps forward and intercepts it and then charges forward with the ball about 40 yards, lays it to Phil Foden, who lays it to Kevin De Bruyne, and another poor ball into the box from KDB. But Phil Foden's won that ball back and he's shown some strength there to keep hold of it. Rodri's approaching the edge of the penalty area now, looking for options. There's only really Erling Haaland in there. It's been a lacklustre second half, this. I'm not taller than Haaland. So Haaland's 6'4" as well, isn't he? I'm sure Haaland's 6. I'm quite pleased to be like in the same bracket of Erling Haaland height, but I feel like Erling Haaland's like a big 6'4", you know, like 6'4" plus. I'm 6'4" just, but yeah, 6'4". Erling Haaland's 6'3". Nah, I reckon he's bigger than 6'3". I think 6'4" is the maximum for like everyday duty. Do you know what I mean? Otherwise, you're banging your head on doors and shit. The amount of time, you know, in England we have like small cottage type pubs with doors that are like that big. Do you know what I mean? Like, who built this house, man? Like, I have to go like this to get into like a pub. Do you know what I mean? Like, Kevin De Bruyne with all the space in the world, is he going to find the right pass? No, he's not, because that's not good. Football fan reactions, football club. Sorry, go and subscribe to that man's channel. Top man is 6'3" and bangs his head on a door on a regular basis. Yeah, we do need bigger pubs. Most of them are all right now, but there's some like out in the countryside that are like really like small doors that you bump your head on. Plus, people ask you to do jobs for you that they would need to get a set of ladders for. And it's like, oh, go and get Jonny. He'll put that on a shelf. Get Jonny to change that light bulb. Like, piss off. Three minutes of injury time. Doc, you trying to find Kevin De Bruyne. This second half's been a bit, hasn't it? It's a bit pants. Section 20 popping a link in there for fan reactions. Rodri's picked up the loose pieces there of Nathan Ake. I'm really gutted that I've said I'm not doing player ratings now, because I don't think there's going to be that many high ones here. But Haaland's got some space. Can we make it 3-1? He's got some space. He's closing down McKenna. He's onto his left foot. Erling Haaland. And it's a big save from McKenna. And Mateus Nunes' rebound is blocked. Haaland's still back post. And Nunes is going to find him. And it's Erling Haaland. It's Grabara save again. Erling Haaland in stoppage time gets two clear-cut opportunities and both saved by Grabara. He's a good keeper, that Grabara. He really is. Good shot stopper. And he's kept Erling Haaland out of the Copenhagen net. I mean, seemingly that was the turn of speed against McKenna there, but it's not done though. City got another opportunity here. Phil Foden down the line to Kevin De Bruyne. It's got to be now. Phil Foden makes it 3-1. Has to have been a goal. Had to have been a goal. And that for me gives Phil Foden man of the match. Kevin De Bruyne gets the assist, of course, but Phil Foden's been everywhere tonight. He's been everywhere. He's been a brilliant player this evening. He really has. Kevin De Bruyne is found by Phil Foden down the outside channel. De Bruyne to the byline, he cuts it back. I think there's a bit of a ricochet, a deflection on the cross from Kevin De Bruyne. It lands, fortunately, to the edge of the 6-yard box to Phil Foden, who's got all the space in the world, and he just passes it into the corner of the net. No chance for Copenhagen. 3-1. I think City deserve a third, and I think that's the tie done as well, in truth, which could prove to be a vital goal, in truth. It gives Pep some options for that second tie now. For the second leg, we can go there back to the Etihad and maybe rotate a player or two that he probably wouldn't have had to have done. And Pep's celebrations as well there, by the way. He's going absolutely mental. I mean, that shows. What did I say? I said 3-1, didn't I? That was my preview. I called it 3-1. I did say 2-0 in the Everton game as well, so I'm on a roll. And just as I finish the last swig of my hobgoblin, the final whistle goes. Manchester City complete a fully deserved victory, in truth. A fully deserved victory. Copenhagen offered very little, couple of crosses in the second half, gifted a goal in the first half. Other than that, Manchester City dominated. without too much, genuine, clear-cut opportunities in that second half to speak of. The first 20 minutes, though, I thought it was going to be a blitz. We're going to see a barrage of Manchester City goals, and I felt like it could have been done and dusted before half-time. But Ederson gifted them a way back into the game, makes it 1-1. But City didn't panic. They regained control of the game, and they just knocked the ball about for that second half, made it look quite simple, which, to me, sees City through. I'm going to be a bit bold and say that I think we're through now. With that goal, Copenhagen have got to come to the Etihad and win 3-0. They've got to score 3 goals without reply against Manchester City. It's done. I think it's done, which is great news. Interesting to see if Pep can rotate for that second leg, which isn't until the 6th of March, by the way. So we've got a long wait. In fact, we've got 4 Premier League games and an FA Cup game against Luton to play before we even play Copenhagen in the second leg. So there's lots of domestic football for Manchester City to play before we even play this second leg, which is exciting. I will be doing a watch along for all of those, of course, so come and join me for that. It's been fantastic to see so many of you in this watch along as well. I'll be doing a quick match reaction after this because I feel like it's quite a simple one to analyse, but one worth analysing nonetheless. Thanks so much for joining me in the chat. Shadow Assassin, any comment on Haaland? Yeah, I feel like he had a quiet game, had an opportunity to score at the end, probably should have scored. But no, yeah, I'll talk a bit more in detail in the match reaction. But thanks for joining me, everybody, in the chat. Once again, it's been fantastic. On your way out, so close to 200 likes. If you could pop a like on the stream on your way out and help me get to that 200 mark, that would be fantastic. And thanks again for joining me, and come and join me in the match reactions, and I'll see you in the next one.